Hello, my name is Annabelle, and I'm part of a movement to create affordable housing in the Inland Empire. California Partnership is a coalition that focuses on advocacy for issues that affect poverty. And here in California, the two main drivers of poverty are healthcare and housing costs. For the last year, the coalition has been advocating for shelter space to open more emergency beds in Riverside and San Bernardino. Not only have these concerns been unaddressed, but what is the end goal of transitional housing? The end goal of homelessness is the same dream many people have today, to simply have a place to live. There is a bigger issue affecting our communities across the country. There is just not enough affordable housing. So the big question is, how do we address this issue? Our coalition is looking to create a framework to develop and preserve high quality, affordable, and environmentally sustainable housing so that people can thrive in the community where they work. One answer is community land trusts. The Inland Equity CLT is a community land trust that will develop and steward affordable housing and other community assets in Riverside and San Bernardino counties. Inland Equity CLT will provide a solution to inland residents who fall under HUD's definition of housing cost burden. What is housing cost burden? The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development defines a person paying more than 30% of their income on housing costs as housing cost burdened. These costs include utilities like gas and electric, insurance, and taxes. The Inland Equity CLT will be a nonprofit that will develop housing that is insulated from the speculative market and make housing a place where people live as opposed to a gambling cost used by Wall Street. This commodification of housing has turned our homes into credit cards instead of places to live. A trust will protect the homeowner from the rise and falls of the market with a community land trust. Not only can we start by building affordable prefabricated houses, as we grow, we can transition into permanent, sustainable housing. Why are we looking for more solutions to housing? Our current system relies on Section 8 vouchers to subsidize housing for housing burdened people, but this solution is not working. In Riverside alone, there are 96,000 people on Section 8 wait lists, while in San Bernardino, the waiting list has been frozen at 50,000 people. To add to this, 70% of vouchers that are distributed go unused because people who receive them don't find housing before they expire. Our coalition has looked to other parts of the country that have tried to find an answer to the lack of affordable housing. In Vermont, the Burlington CLT has formed and become the most successful community land trust in America. In Jackson, Mississippi, Cooperation Jackson developed an ecologically sustainable citywide community land trust, as well as a solidarity economy. Cooperation Jackson developed a path out of poverty in Mississippi. From these two inspirations, we decided to launch our own community land trust project. To push this forward, different people have come together that are passionate about solving the housing crisis here in the Inland Empire. Vanya Quarles, Executive Director of Starting Over Inc., that provides transitional housing for people who have been formerly incarcerated. Beverly Earle, Director of Family and Community Services for Catholic Charities in San Bernardino. Gerald Katz, builder of Eco Acre. Maribel Nunez, Executive Director of California Partnership, and Dr. Matthew Snyder, lecturer at University of California, Riverside. Our plan is to raise the money necessary to restore and develop affordable housing, as well as assist people in troubled mortgages by buying them into the trust. Our initial budget is $50,000. This funding will take care of establishing the board and other logistics, like the legal paperwork, licensing, staffing, and managing the trust. Why do we care? This is the first step in addressing the massive housing crisis devastating our communities. Whether it's Riverside, Los Angeles, or New York City, working people have lost control of the land that lives under us. We are the only animals on earth that have to pay rent to live. In 2008, when the subprime mortgage industry collapsed, many people lost their homes. I was one of the many affected in the housing crisis. Not only did my mother go for months without getting the clear answers she needed about her loans, But in this time, I moved across the country to Chicago to live on my sister's couch. Many like myself had to find temporary housing solutions for their family members, sometimes splitting families apart and separating them from their communities. This happens because we focus on making our houses a financial instrument instead of a home within a community. The housing crisis didn't end in 2008 with a crash, but it continues today. In the UC system, 1 out of every 9 students are homeless, and in the Cal State system, 1 out of every 6 students are homeless. What a communal land trust ultimately does is insulate housing to free it from speculative costs and risks. We must free the land so we can free ourselves. This is a community-driven solution to provide a space where people can afford to live and thrive where they work.